For some reason, this is very random, but for some reason, the first number of characters we were introduced in the first book once Magnus got on the bridge and retrieved the Sword of Summer. A lot of the characters who had beards reminded me of Cain from Supernatural. I don't know why, but for some reason I just got different variations of the actor who played Cain, like altered to fit each character's description. I just visualized that character as him. Don't know why. Don't know why. I don't know. I guess he just reminds me of like a Viking stereotype because of his beard or whatever. But I found that really weird, and there's so many bearded famous things that I could have gone for. I could have gone for like Santa Claus, or I could have gone for like Dumbledore or something like that. But no, I went to Cain, which I don't know why. It made me giggle though, because I could see the actor of Cain acting kind of like these characters in the book. So I found that really, really funny. And I'm glad my imagination brought that to light. Another random thing, I highlighted this quote that Randolph had said to Magnus. Myths are simply stories about truths we've forgotten. Now, I know rationally that statement isn't true. There couldn't be these Greek gods and all that kind of stuff. But on a certain level, I kind of wish they were true, because it would be cool. It would be interesting. It would give like real life magic. Like that magic is attainable in real life, that there is kind of a chance for someone's heroic deeds to be legendized in myth form, to be remembered ages and ages in the future. And oh my god, the references in this book, or the different pop culture name drops or whatever in this book. Now, I thought Percy Jackson and the Heroes of Olympus had a lot. Holy crap. In this book alone, I think I highlighted at least 25. And they're all things that I enjoy. There's Princess Bride, there was Doctor Who, there was Sherlock, there were different TV shows. The fact that he liked reading, that kind of fangirly stuff, I was glad to be included, because Magnus, I didn't say this before, but Magnus is kind of a nerd, not a fangirl, but like he could potentially reach fangirl status. He's like the beginning of a fangirl. So I thought that was really cool, because we don't have that in the other books. Like, obviously Annabeth is smart, and obviously Percy Jackson is sassy as all hell. But Magnus kind of embraces both areas to make something that I think Rick Riordan realized his readers were. Like, this might be a generalization, but I'm saying that all Rick Riordan fans are smart and that they enjoy other fandoms, because I feel like this is another gateway fandom like Harry Potter is. Not as large, I don't think, but definitely a gateway fandom, and I think Rick Riordan is kind of embracing that, or kind of like giving recognition to the fact that we are fangirls and we like TV shows and other pop culture stuff. So I thought that was cool. Also, a lot of sly comments are inserted into the books that Magnus Chase spots, but like no further explanation or whatever is given. One of them was, he was talking about what CE is and why not just say AD, and the response was, Thor gets upset because 80 is for Christians, and he still holds a grudge because Jesus never showed up for a duel that Thor had challenged Jesus to. So little stuff like that are just thrown in, and you're like, what? How did this happen? I want to know more about that. And Rick Riordan has always included stuff like that in his books, but it's great to see more of them, because they're just so funny and great. Another thing, there's a lot of stuff within Rick Riordan's books that it seems that the stuff that he's saying are too good to be like actual true facts. Like when he's talking about stuff that has to do with real people or real places and that kind of stuff, it seems too good to be true. Like, Boston being called the hub of the universe because it is located where the world tree is in Norse religion or the Norse thought or whatever, that the world tree is located in Boston, and that's why it's the hub of the world, because the world tree leads to different worlds within the Norse sphere or whatever. So that in itself is kind of ironic. But then later on, he says how different famous people have kind of seen an importance to the city of Boston. And one of them is Edgar Allan Poe, who was born there. And it's said that Edgar Allan Poe was born in Boston. It's no accident his most famous poem was about a raven, one of Odin's sacred animals. Like, honestly, just the way Rick Riordan, I don't know if he manipulates it or if he just finds these very coincidental things and uses them. It's just mind boggling how it just kind of works perfectly. Like, I don't know, like books like these that relate mythologies, ancient mythologies to modern times. Just like that was supposed to be written. It was fated to have been written. It's just crazy because it does fit so well. And like, oh, I can't. One of the most important things I think that has been said in this book was said by Loki, and he actually says this quite a number of times, but one of the times he says, um, yes, but that was the God's choice, not mine. The thing about fate, Magnus, even if we can't change the big picture, our choices can alter the details. That's how we rebel against destiny, how we make our mark. What will you choose to do? Now he's saying this about how he is destined to fight on the evil side. Even though he doesn't necessarily want to be fighting there, he kind of is forced to by fate. Now that could have been just some bullshit kind of story that Loki is doing to try to get what he wanted out of Magnus. Could have been. But still, I think that holds a very important message because we've seen it in the other books as well. How even though you might have a fate, it's gonna happen. Just the journey to that end result is very important, and it says a lot about the person. The end result does not necessarily say as much. You find out more about who that character is by the journey, and that's something you can take away for in life. Like you might end up somewhere years from now, but your journey there is the important part. So I really like that. Another thing that kind of broke the fourth wall in this book and referenced other books written by Rick Riordan is when Magnus is trying to have the Sword of Summer, who is called Jack, being hidden in a different way, because originally it was like a 90s pocket chain hanging from his pants, and he was like, that's not very fashionable and easy to use, so he wanted to turn it into something else. And the funny thing is, he said, oh, why don't you turn into a pen or something? Where else have we heard about a pen that turns into a sword? Percy Jackson, of course. And I just thought that was hilarious. And even more funny is that the sword responds, a pen sword? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like, honestly, that is just hilarious. Like, I was dying laughing when I read that part. It's just, I love how the fourth wall between books and between the book and the reader is kind of broken with this book. Like, Rick Riordan really goes far and beyond what he's done before in that respect. And I just love it. I fully enjoyed it. It was great. Furthering that point I just made, he also breaks the fourth wall between books with the title chapter for chapter 48, or the chapter title for chapter 48, which is Hearthstone passes out even more than Jason Grace, though I have no idea who that is. Like, honestly, it's hilarious. Just, Rick Riordan, you go for doing. Why did I do this? This is like a presidential thing. Good job for doing what you are doing. I really like it, and it's hilarious. And the fact, even if it just had the Hearthstone passes out even more than Jason Grace, that would have been hilarious on its own. But he has in parentheses, though I have no idea who that is. Like, oh, he doesn't know who that is. How does he know to say that? It's just like, oh, Rick Riordan, you're coming through the pages of the book, and you're pleasing the readers because that is hysterical. Okay, and one of the biggest feels moments in this book was when Magnus Chase is talking to Hearthstone. That's his name, Hearthstone, and says, I know what it feels like to be an empty cup, to have everything taken away from you, but you're not alone. However much magic you need to use, it's okay. We've got you. We're your family. Like, honestly, the feels, oh my god, they're turning into a little familial unit they have. It's so adorable. You got Hearthstone, who's kind of like, who was already in the beginning considered like Magnus Chase's mom, and then there's Blitzen, who was like the dad, but now they're all like siblings, and it's just adorable. And the feels, they're there for each other. They had all of them. They had no one, but now they have each other, and now it's just so adorable. And yeah, that's kind of something not very important, but I thought I should share because the feels. This was like the first, like, oh, feels moment exploding. So I thought I should include it. Just like with Percy Jackson, there's a whole bunch of modern sayings that are used. Like, there's come at me, bro, is used quite a couple of times, and then um, blades before babes, you know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff, and like no bros, and I love that about these books, and that's why Rick Riordan's novels are very easy to read and very likable, because he's kind of talking in a way and narrating in a way that most people are used to, because it's just like dialogue that you hear every day, and it's just great. That's one thing I really enjoyed with Rick Riordan's writings. He doesn't have to elevate the language, the diction, I think is the literary term, of the characters and the narration in order for it to be a good book, because he uses modern speak in order to convey that anybody could be a hero, anybody could do good for the world and save different worlds and that kind of stuff, which is always something nice. So I enjoyed that.